Title of the first section today is Review, Graphene, Slope, Intercept, Form. In this section, we'll review graphene slope-intercept form, which is the same as mx plus b form. So the definition or equation to remember for this section is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. First equation we'll graph, y equals 1/2 x plus 1. From this equation, if it's in slope-intercept form, we can find what m the slope is and b the y-intercept is and graph from there. M the slope, the number in front of x, is 1/2, and b the y-intercept is the last number, +1. Drawing our graph from here. Always start with b the y-intercept, and that goes on the y-axis, which is the vertical axis. +1 would be up 1. The slope, if you remember, is rise over run, so we'll go up 1 spot and to the right 2 spots from the y-intercept. So 1 spot up and 2 spots to the right will be our second point, and we can take those 2 points to connect them to get the graph for the equation. Second equation for the section, y equals -2/3 x minus 2. Same steps, m equals and b equals. M the slope, number in front of x, is -2/3, and b the y-intercept is -2. Graphing from here. The y-intercept on the y-axis starts at -2. -2 would be 2 spots down. And the slope, -2/3. Negative will go down 2 spots and to the right 3 spots. So 2 spots down and 3 spots to the right. 2 down and 3 over will be our second point. Once we have 2 points again, we can connect them to get the line for the equation. And last equation for the section, y equals 2x minus 1. M equals and b equals. M, the number in front of x, is 2, and b, the last number, -1. Drawing the graph, starting on the y-axis at b, -1 would be 1 spot down. M equals the slope, which is 2. If it's not a fraction, remember you can make any number a fraction by putting a 1 on the bottom. So we'll go up 2 spots and over 1 spot from our y-intercept. 1 spot up would be on the x-axis, and 1 more spot up would be a +1, and it'll go to the right 1 spot. So up 2 over 1, 2 points, connect those, and you have the line for the equation. Title of the next section today, Solving 2 equations by graphene. In this section, we'll solve two equations by graphing. We'll graph two equations on the same graph, and where they cross will be the solutions to the graph. First equation, y equals x plus 2. And second equation, y equals negative 2x plus 2. Each of these equations are in slope-intercept form, or mx plus b form. So we can find m equals and b equals for each equation. First equation, m, the number in front of x, the slope. If there's no number in front of x, you can always put a 1, so the slope would be 1. b, the last number, would be positive 2. Second equation, the slope m, number in front of x, would be 2, and the last number is 2. The slope would be negative 2 since we have a negative 2 in the equation. Graphing from here, again we'll make one graph and graph both lines on that same graph. The first equation, starting at b, the y-intercept, we'll start at positive 2. The slope is 1. Again, you can make that a fraction by putting a 1 on the bottom. So we'll go up one spot and to the right one spot. Taking those 2 points, we can connect them to get the graph for the first line. The second line, b equals 2. So again, we'll start at that same point, b equals 2. The slope though is negative 2, or negative 2 over 1. So from the y-intercept at 2, we'll go down 2 spots and to the right 1 spot. Taking these 2 points, we can connect them to get the graph for the second equation. To solve this problem, the solution is the point where the two graphs cross, which is at the y-intercept. The solution we can write as a xy point. The x value of this point, since it's in the middle, the x value would be 0, and the y value is 2 spots up. So our solution to this graph is 0, 2. Second question and last question for the section. Y equals x plus 4. And the second equation, y equals 4x plus 1. Again, each of these are in mx plus b form or slope-intercept form. So we can find m equals and b equals for each equation. First equation, m equals the number in front of x, and if there's no number there, we can always put a 1. And last number b, which would be 4. Second equation, m the slope, number in front of x would be 4, and b, the last number, positive 1. Graphing from here. Again, we'll put both lines on the same xy axis and find the point where they cross. First equation, we'll start at positive 4. The slope, m equals 1. We can make that a fraction, 1 over 1. So we'll go up 1 spot and over 1 spot. Taking those 2 lines, those 2 points, we can connect them to make a line. Second equation, b equals 1. Starting at positive 1. M equals 4, or m equals 4 over 1. So from positive 1, we'll go up 4 spots, and to the right 1 spot, which will be on top of the same point that we had before. Connecting those, that would be the graph for the section. The solution again is the point where the 2 lines cross, and we can write this as a xy point. The x value is 1, and the y value would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the point where these 2 graphs cross, or they're equal, the solution is 1, 5. Title of the gloss section today is It a Solution? In this section we'll find out if a point is a solution to both equations. First question and only question for the section. The point is -1, 5. And the two equations, first one is x plus y equals 4. And the second equation, x equals -1. To be a solution, we'll take this point, plug it into both equations. If it works for both equations, this point is a solution. If it does not work for one or both of the equations, then the point is not a solution. If you remember, points are always x, y. So we'll plug a -1 in for x and a +5 in for y. The first equation, x plus y, x would be -1 plus y would be 5, and that should be equal to 4. -1 plus 5, different signs will subtract, which would be 4. 5 is bigger, which is positive, so we'll have +4 equals 4, which works for the first equation. The second equation, x equals -1, the x value is -1, so plugging a -1 in for x, -1 equals -1. Since it works for both equations, the question is it a solution? The answer would be yes. If it did not work for one or both of the equations, the answer would be no.